Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us start the session with the snippets. The very first one, Army to commemorate 1962 Battle of Wellong. There's one important word here, commemorate, means to recall and respect. What does it mean? Recall. Recall and respect someone or something. To recall and respect someone or something, we use commemorate, an important word. The second one, SC raps Punjab, Haryana for inaction. There's one word here, rap. Good morning, banking warrior, Usha Yadav. Good morning to all of you, Murthy also. Rap has different meanings. I'm sure you all know rap music, very popular in the US. But here rap means to make a statement saying that someone has committed something wrong, either crime or something wrong. In a way, it is accusation or allegation. Statement saying that someone has done something wrong. Here, SC Supreme Court raps Punjab, Haryana for inaction. Accuses, you can say accuses those two for inaction regarding stubble burning. And 25 killed in Israeli strikes in Lebanon. Simple words. The battle cry, an important expression, for justice in the city of joy. Which city is called City of Joy? Kolkata is called City of Joy. R.G. Kar case sets off, means initiates a people's movement. Still they are protesting. Australia has the edge against South Africa. I always tell students when it comes to competitive exams, you don't have to be the best. You should be better than others. You should have the competitive edge. When you read the Hindu paper religiously, that means strictly, consistently, for 6 months every day, then you have the competitive edge. I use another expression, competitive edge. Yes, Murli, on the edge has a different meaning, to be tensed up. Here you have to recollect competitive edge. Coming to the main headline, India, Pak avoid blaming each other at SCO meet. There is one expression over here, it has to catch your attention. Which part of speech is each other? It is a pronoun. Which type of pronoun is it? A reciprocal pronoun. In English, we have two reciprocal pronouns. What are they? One is each other. The other one is one another. Each other, one another. Where do we use each other? When we talk about two persons or two things, we use each other. More than two, we use one another. Many exams have given a question like, all the students argued with each other. Wrong. All the students argued with one another. That you have to recollect. Mulla Periyar, Tamil Nadu engineers walk out of inspection. Walk out means some problem. They must have refused to be part of that, so they walked out. Here we have September trade gap eases. Oil exports hit 32-month low. There is one word ease. Ease has 2 or 3 meanings. One meaning of ease, to become less intense. Imagine it started raining, initially heavy rain. After some time, intensity went down. Then we say rain has eased off. There is one expression. It is like a phrasal verb. Eased off. Ease off, eased off. Then you say the rain has eased off. And also, ease has another meaning. It means comfort. He gave the presentation with a lot of ease. Means what? He gave a presentation with a lot of comfort, not tensed up. Another meaning, a different meaning altogether. Cartoonist jailed for 23 years in Saudi Arabia. Simple. And here we have a pick. People on a bulldozer towards safety. After a heavy spell, there's one important expression here, heavy spell of rain. You should also recollect dry spell. Dry spell means no rains for a long time. Heavy spell means heavy rains or rain cats and dogs or rain in torrents. After a heavy spell of rain in Chennai, municipal workers evacuate people. Evacuate means to shift to a safe place. Evacuate people from a waterlogged area on Wednesday. Waterlogged, waterlogging. Water enters a particular place, it does not move from there. Then we use the expression waterlogging, waterlogged place, areas. The Regional Meteorological Center has maintained the red alert issued for the city till Thursday morning. Other words are rather easy. Five Eye nations back Canada in a row with India. Yesterday also I read out one important, stagnant waters also you can say. Very good, Pravalika. And also Rajeshri. Here, Canada accused India, not exactly India, but Indian diplomats. And two words have been used. One of the words not at all acceptable. We got yesterday. What is that word? Extortion. Extortion means what? You threaten someone for money and take money from that person. You threaten, you intimidate and take money from someone. That is known as extortion. They use the word extortion for diplomats. That is not acceptable. The word extortion goes with underworld gangs, mafias, dons, all those people, not with diplomats. There is a row. Here, Five Eye nations. There is a group of 5 nations. The name for that group, Five Eye nations, back Canada. Here, back means support Canada. And regarding what? In row with India. Row means conflict, dispute. Yes, Murli. Row means what? Conflict, dispute, argument. All these words you can think of. Center raises MSP of wheat, 5 other Rabi crops for 2025-26. Whenever you come across rise, raise, you have to recollect all the 3 forms. Rise, rose, risen, irregular, spat also you can say. Very good. Who is this? Sri Krishna. Rise, rose, risen, raise, raised, raised. Grammar knowledge is important when it comes to these 2 words. Arise, irregular, intransitive. Raise, a regular, transitive verb. That difference you have to know, then you can handle the questions. Omar Abdullah takes oath as new Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister. Oath, promise, pledge, oath. At the time of swearing in, oath. That's what I'm telling. Promise, pledge, promise, oath. Saying that I will do this, I will follow the constitution, I will protect people, all these things. Very good. Who is this? Tarun. Let us go to the next headline, state related. Here we have Roma Ray, 95, niece of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, dies. Niece, what does it mean? Pledge also you can say, yes. Niece, daughter of a brother or daughter of a sister. How do you refer? My brother has a daughter, my sister has a daughter. Imagine, how do I refer? I say, she is my niece. But imagine my brother has a boy, my sister has a boy. How do I refer? He is my nephew. British English, we pronounce PH as F. So we say nephew. But Americans don't say nephew, they say nephew. Don't think it is wrong. Nephew is American English, nephew is British English. Boy, nephew, and girl, niece. File affidavit, a written statement in the court of law on tree felling in Delhi Ridge area. In Delhi, there is a forest in the heart of the city. It is known as Ridge Forest. And Delhi University is there, middle of the forest, Ridge Forest. And there's one important word here, felling. You all know fall, fell, fallen. But here we are not talking about this, a different verb altogether. What is it? Fell, felled, felled. Felled means to cut down. Cut down what? Trees. And in SBI once I gave a question. Many trees were fell in our colony last week. Or they fell many trees in our colony last week. Wrong. We have to say they felled many trees in our colony last week. An important word. Hill Areas Committee asks Manipur government to hold ADC polls soon. We have an important word here, committee. Committee is a collective noun. What are the important examples? Committee, jury, staff, team, family, group. And you have to recollect the rules. Collective nouns usually take a singular verb, a singular pronoun. But if the sentence talks about division, we have to use a plural verb and a plural pronoun. That you have to recollect. That's all from today's headlines and snippets. Let us go to the actual session. This is like a warm-up activity, but do remember you can learn a lot from the headlines. You can consolidate your grammar. There's so much to learn. But the purpose of this session, editorial analysis, and a major chunk, major part of the session should be dedicated to that. And let us start with the question, what is enrichment? You will improve your reading comprehension skill and also your contextual awareness. You will learn effective vocabulary. You can consolidate your grammar knowledge. You will improve your effective English. Mini mocks. Today, new models, 2 new models I have brought. A writing skill, a new feature. Vocab consolidation. All these you are going to work on. Let us start with the vocab. Today's editorial is all about Global Hunger Index. It's about a publication, it is about a report. Anything that deals with a publication usually full of data, statistical data, and no, we are running out of time. Yesterday also, I have a session at 10. I was late and I don't want that to get repeated. I can't afford to do that. Because of the mini mocks, because of consolidation, yesterday it went past 10 o'clock. But I have a session at 10, so I can't take it beyond 10. I hope you guys got it. Yes, I know. Let us go to, today not too many words, only a few words, 5 or 6, but important words. I will try to squeeze in some time. For today it is over. Abject, part of speech, adjective. Generally it goes with penury, poverty, already it has been used. Means what? Extremely bad, degrading or severe, showing humiliation or submission. Just remember the word abject means a severe, and it goes with abject poverty, abject penury. These are the combinations you have to know. And look at the example. The refugees lived in abject poverty without access to basic necessities or without access to basic amenities. Synonyms: miserable, wretched, an important word, wretched life. Dejected, more disappointed, hopeless, degraded, not up to the mark. Usually we say degrading standards, degrading quality. Noble, exalted, dignified, prosperous, simple words. Stark, part of speech, adjective. Actually, stark contrast means what? Clear, something that is obvious. Harsh, severe, or completely clear. This is what you have to focus on. In appearance or situation. Look at the example. The stark contrast between the rich and the poor was evident in the city. Stark differences, stark contrast. These are the combinations you have to know. The stark contrast between the rich and the poor was evident in the city. Blunt, severe, bare, harsh, clear, desolate. Important word. Antonyms, I use this quite often. Subtle. Here the letter B is silent. Subtle, mild, ornate goes more with decoration. Comforting, embellish also goes more with a decoration. Tout. We have got this recently. Tout means you talk a lot about a particular product or a particular service with the intention of promoting that or selling it. Part of speech verb. To promote or talk about something in an attempt to sell it or gain attention. The company is touting its latest product as a revolutionary innovation. Company has come out with a product and it talks about that all the time. Then we say the company is touting the new product. Promote, advertise, publicize, flaunt, endorse. Very good. Murthy, it is there in the list of synonyms. Here you have to remember, these are all simple words. Flaunt, important word. Endorse, we have got many a time. Antonyms, condemn, criticize, understate, conceal, hide. Simple words. Based on the context, you have to use these. Pertinent. I use this quite often. I say it is a pertinent question. Pertinent means what? Relevant, appropriate, apt. Relevant or applicable to a particular matter. Adjective, obviously. The lawyer raised several pertinent points. Focus on the combinations. Pertinent questions, pertinent points, pertinent issues means relevant during the cross-examination. Relevant, appropriate, suitable, applicable, related. Antonyms, irrelevant, inappropriate, unrelated, inapplicable. Simple words. Stunted. Stunted takes the word growth. It goes with the combination word is stunted growth, stunted development. Very good. Part of speech adjective, prevented from growing or developing properly. The child's growth was stunted due to malnutrition in the early years of life. Malnutrition, not getting nutritious food, then the growth gets stunted, means the person may not grow fully. Synonyms, hindered, dwarfed, underdeveloped, restricted. Antonyms, thriving, flourishing, developed, grown. But I have told many a time, the words thriving and flourishing go with business. Thriving business, flourishing business. And there's one word here. If you take Indian male average height, I think it is about 5'4", female 5 feet. But imagine someone is only 2 feet, very short. Then what is the word? Many of you, I'm sure, know the word dwarf. But there's another word you guys have to know. Which one is that? Midget. Dwarf person, midget. Midget, dwarf, both mean the same. And sometimes what happens, people take plants, they turn into trees, they grow 15 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, but they use a technique called pruning technique. And with the help of pruning technique, they make the plants, they don't allow the plants to grow. The plant remains this, it grows to this size, maybe not even a few inches, and hundreds of years, 200 years, 300 years, but it does not grow fully. And what is the name for those plants? Bonsai. Very good. Someone has responded. Who is that? Rajeshri. Very good. I appreciate that. Those plants, stunted plants, are known as bonsai. All these words you have to know. I think those are the words. Now, before you read an editorial, you have to ask the question, what is this about? This editorial addresses or discusses India's poor ranking in the 2024 Global Hunger Index, where the country stands at 105 out of 127 nations. That is disturbing. This is the editorial is about Global Hunger Index and where does India stand? What is India's rank? The higher the rank, it is like bad news, not good news in this context. What is the tone? Because it is about malnourishment and related to hunger and the rank is not acceptable. The tone of the editorial is critical, criticizing the government. Who is responsible? The government has failed. Failure of the government, the editorial says. And also concerned because of malnutrition, malnourishment, and stunted growth, obviously one has to show concern, critical and concerned, two important words. Let us see how it starts. What is a stimulus? Abject failure. Whose failure? Here, when you read, you understand the editorial says government's failure. And abject failure means severe failure to a great extent. On India's Global Hunger Index ranking, what is the main idea? India's ranks 104, 105 out of 127 countries in the Global Hunger Index 2024. What is the rank India has got? 105 out of 127. Not a good thing, rather disturbing. Any editorial that deals with a publication or a survey or a report, you have to think of the broad framework. It starts with, or it may talk about pertinent issues like who published this, what is the name of the organization, and which publication year, which issue it is, and what are the facts and figures, the data, who is responsible, who should be blamed, and what is the solution. These are the aspects it may touch. The 2024 Global Hunger Index GHI suggests that India's undernourished population this year would effectively rank as the seventh most populous country in the world. This part talks about the number of undernourished people, population in India, with roughly the population of Brazil, a staggering 200 million people. How many are there undernourished people in our country? 200 million people. And staggering means surprising, astonishing because of the large size, huge number. We use the word staggering. 200 million people. In stark terms, in clear terms, this is about 14% of India's population or existing population. So what does it mean? In other words, in stark terms, means clear terms, it means 14% of India's existing population undernourished. That's what it means. Continuation. The 2024 GHI, which is the report's 19th edition, as I said, they talk about the report, the survey, the publication. They have to talk about which year and which publication. 19th edition, which edition? Considers comprehensive sets of data in its findings. Comprehensive, we have got many a time. You have to recollect words like holistic and also exhaustive. Exhaustive, not exhausted. Comprehensive, holistic, exhaustive, and the combination words syllabus, policies, procedures, means touching all the dimensions. Comprehensive sets of data in its findings. Again, when you see the word data, you have to recollect datum is singular, data is plural. Data, because it is a plural of datum, obviously we use a plural verb. But data is also considered a collective noun. When we use data as a collective noun, we can use a singular verb. Sometimes students ask me, sir, we see data are, data is, which one is right? Both are correct. If the writer wants to use the word data as a collective noun, the writer uses a singular verb. If the writer wants to use the word data as a plural noun of datum, uses a plural verb. Both are right. Here, the 2024 GHI, which is a report's 19th edition, considers comprehensive sets of data in its findings. What are those? We will come to know when we continue. In India's case, it considers a sample registration system, statistical reports, that the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation publishes annually. One source they considered, which provide data such as on births, deaths, infant and maternal mortality. Mortality means what? Death. Based on reports by the Ministry of Women and Child Development and Niti Aayog. These are the sources based on which they have inferred or concluded. The second part talks about in 2024, the scorecard for the 127 nations analyzed ranges from low to extremely alarming. When they analyzed 127 countries, they found a range and they used terms like low, extremely alarming. While India is ranked serious, what is the rank? 105 and scored 27.3. It might as well be considered extremely alarming if one considers various other relevant factors. Based on the terminology, we can use the word serious. But if we consider other factors, other relevant or pertinent factors, then it comes under extremely alarming. It also establishes the abject and systemic failure by the Indian state. Now the editorial touches the reasons behind. It starts with pointing out who is responsible, the Indian state. Here Indian state means Indian government. Generally when we use the word state, we think of states like Telangana, AP, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. But if you talk to a political science student, the moment you say state, he or she thinks of nation state. State has two meanings. One, administrative unit within a country. The other, a sovereign country. For a sovereign country. Sovereign means what? Not controlled by anyone. India is a sovereign country. When we talk about a sovereign country, we also say a nation state. State here means a country, a sovereign country. It also establishes the abject and systemic failure by the Indian state to address, to deal with, to tackle the most basic of human needs. When we talk about the basic human needs, in Hindi there is a saying, what is it? Roti, kapda or makan. Roti means food, kapda means clothes, makan means house. These are the basic needs for any person. Of the three, again, the first one is the most important. Which one is that? Roti, the food. Without food, no survival. So it talks about that. Abject and systemic failure by the Indian state to address the most basic of human needs. What is that? Of adequate food and nutrition that are essential to reap something. Reap means to get the benefits. Not only food, it has to be nutritious. That is also equally important. Otherwise, it results in stunted growth. To reap the benefits of the much touted demographic dividend. Touted. We talk about something repeatedly. We take pride in saying that and we want to highlight that one. Today, if you look at different countries, there are expressions like if you go to Europe, some countries like Bulgaria and Belgium, they are known as dying societies. Why are they called dying societies? They have aged people, a lot of them, 90%, and others they don't want to have children. So slowly what happens, the society dies. So the expression dying societies. And some countries they have middle-aged people, a lot of them. But coming to India, today India has a demographic dividend. What does it mean? We have a lot of youngsters, the major chunk of Indian population, youngsters. And this is what precisely we call demographic dividend, means a benefit. But there is a negative aspect also. Many of the youngsters unfortunately don't have the required skills. That's a different thing. But to have this, when we tout the demographic dividend, obviously the kids should have nutritious food. Otherwise, we cannot talk about this. That's what the sentence means. India was the world's fastest growing economy at 6.8% in financial year 24, with an estimated GDP of almost 4 trillion, ranking 5th globally. Now, editorial touches India's position from GDP point of view and from per capita income point of view. Both are entirely different. They are like poles apart. GDP like North Pole, per capita income like South Pole. It talks about the positive side. India was the world's fastest growing economy at 6.8% in financial year 24, with an estimated GDP of almost 4 trillion US dollars, ranking fifth globally. That is something outstanding, positive. Next, the writer introduces negative information with a negative word, however. However, its per capita income of 2,485 US dollars in financial year 24 was less than a fourth of the global average of 13,920 US dollars in financial year 2022. Per capita income, global average is how much? 13,000 to 920 US dollars. But what is India's average? 2,485. It is less than one fourth of 13,920. This is positive, this is negative. Indicating the what does it indicate? Indicating the wide income inequality that would result in vastly varied disposable incomes. It shows, what does it show? It shows inequality, the gap between the rich and the poor, the gap between the haves and the have-nots. It's a paradoxical situation. It is irony. What is irony we come across? On the one hand, India has the richest people, very rich, extremely rich, filthy rich, stinking rich. On the other hand, so many people, 14% of Indian population undernourished. That's what the sentence talks about. And many people have disposable incomes. Morning, one student asked, "Sir, what is the meaning of disposable incomes?" Imagine to survive, to meet the basic needs, you need about 10,000. But your salary is 30,000. You spend the 10,000 for your basic needs, you still have 20,000 in your hand. More than what you need if you get in the form of salary you earn, that is known as disposable income. Today, if you take IT professionals, many IT professionals have disposable income. For survival, they need about 30 to 40,000, but the package is 1 lakh plus, and the remaining is nothing but they can spend on something. Actually, the word dispose of means you use something, you throw it, dispose it off, we say. But here, disposable income means excess income, more than what is required. That is a problem in our country. This is a pertinent, relevant, as food inflation more than doubled between financial year 22 and 24 from 3.8% to 7.5%, affecting the poor. This is something important. Why is it important? Food inflation has gone up. If food inflation goes up, who will get affected? Obviously, the poor people. They can't afford to buy. And that's what the sentence says. Because it has gone up from 3.8% to 7.5%, affecting the poor. Poor cannot afford to buy. If the food inflation is there, prices go up, they can't afford to buy. Even as the economic survey for 23-24 blames this on extreme weather events. So what are the reasons behind food inflation? The editorial cites, based on a particular survey, 3 reasons. 1, extreme weather events. 2, low reservoir levels. And 3, damaged crops, affecting farm output. When the farm output goes down, the prices of food items go up. But again, there's a contrast here. What is that? India recorded one of its highest levels of food production, 332 million tons in 23-24. But what are the areas? This was largely due to bumper crops in rice and wheat. Though, contrasting word, pulses and vegetables were affected by extreme weather events. Something positive, something negative. But these numbers, when read with India's infant mortality, 26 per thousand live births in 2022, while the global average was 28, and child stunting and wasting rates of 35.5% and 18.7% respectively are revealing. They are telling something. Here, revealing means something is being conveyed. What is being conveyed? Here, the mortality rate 26 per thousand. But what is the global average? 28. But when it comes to child stunting, ratios have changed. India respectively means first India, then global. 35.5%, here 18.7%. What could be the reason behind? Malnourishment. Why malnourishment? Food inflation. Food inflation, what is the impact? Poor people can't afford to buy. That results in malnutrition that in turn results in stunted growth. All are related. They point to a failure of India's healthcare and safety net systems and the denial to address what is apparent, namely climate change. Again, blaming the government, failure on the part of the government. Apparent means obvious. Climate change that has already begun to cast a long shadow on India's food security. We have to deal with climate change, and already climate change has cast a long shadow, means there's a long shadow on food inflation, food security. In future, it is going to be like that. The future is not that bright. The future related to this particular dimension, rather still disturbing. What is the reason behind? Because of not dealing with climate change. It ends on that particular note. Now let us go to the questions to test your comprehension skill and also listening skill. What is the first question over here? What is India's rank in 2024 Global Hunger Index? Rather easy. 105 out of 127. According to the 2024 GHI, what percentage of India's population is undernourished? 14% of India's population is undernourished. That is very unfortunate, which results in stunted growth. What does the editorial suggest about India's GDP in financial year 24? GDP positive, per capita income negative. What is positive here? India's GDP ranked 5th globally at almost 4 trillion US dollars. Clear. All these questions are based on explicit information. Take the keywords, navigate, locate, then you get the answer. What factor is primarily blamed for the doubling of food inflation between financial year 22 and financial year 24? It is not political instability. It is three reasons have been mentioned, but here two reasons you see. One is extreme weather conditions. The other one, damaged crops. Extreme weather events and damaged crops. What was India's food production in 23-24? 250 million tons, 300. Answer is C. 332 million tons. Answer is that. Now let us go to error location. Error location have brought 4 questions, 2 regular pattern, but 2 recently RRB PO mains. They gave a paragraph and they wanted the candidates to identify the number of mistakes in that particular paragraph. It is that model too, quite challenging. First you try to spot the error here. Whether or not to confront them about their role in the matter is a decision which is yet to take. Here decision cannot do action, it receives action. We take a decision. When you know that decision is a subject and it is a receiver, not the doer, then you have to think of passive voice. We cannot use active voice. Here it is in active voice. That is wrong. What are you supposed to say? Which is yet to be taken. We are yet to take the decision, active voice. The decision is yet to be taken, passive voice. The question is about active voice and passive voice. The government is still in the process of finalized. Here itself you have to stop. If you are really good at English, the government is still in the process of not finalized, finalizing. In the process of deciding, in the process of doing, in the process of finalizing, in the process of informing. Here we have to use a noun, verb ing form used as a noun. In the process of what? Doing what? Finalizing. And you cannot use a word form, finalized. Now listen to me very carefully. Here we have a paragraph, not a lengthy one. In this paragraph, you have to read and tell me the number of errors. How many errors are there? There is a new model given recently, RRB PO mains exam. The denial of her results, we have an error here, denial. We cannot use a verb form, we have to use a noun form. The denial of her results of 2 semesters just because she did not, this is past tense. In past, there is an important rule. Interrogative and negative forms, the first verb should be in past, did past form, and the second verb should be in bare infinitive. Based on that, here we cannot use made is not correct. We have to say make. What is the actual verb? To make. And if you don't use a to, that is without to, it is called bare infinitive. The second error. She did not make the necessary cut in attendance due to her pregnancy. At the time, how to read the sentence? The denial of her results of 2 semesters just because she did not make the necessary cut in attendance due to her pregnancy at the time. Main idea is what? Something is not acceptable. It is a fact. For that we have to use present tense. The denial of her results of 2 semesters was a violation. Here you cannot say was, you have to say is a violation of her fundamental rights of equality, liberty and dignity. So how many errors are there? There are 3 errors. And options you may see 1, 2, 3, 4 and none. This is not that easy under pressure, because when you answer, you feel there are 3 errors, but it bothers you. Have I checked properly? Only 3 errors or more errors are there. That disturbs you a lot. And under pressure, not at all easy. But the answer is, how many errors are there? 3 errors. Now let us go to this one. Director General of Police Dinkar Gupta said, the police on Saturday had arrested 17 more persons in connection. There is a standard phrase. We don't say in connection to, we say in connection with. In connection with the case through more than 100 raids in the 3 affected districts, we don't say, we say 3 affected districts, along with several other places in and over Rajpura. Here we don't say, this is also a standard expression, we don't say in and over, we say in and around. In and around a particular place. So how many errors are here? In and around Rajpura and Shambhu border. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3. Even here we have 3 errors. The question is what? Read the paragraph, find out how many errors are there. No division, nothing. And if you practice these questions, mains, if you get a similar model, it will be easy for you to answer or deal with. Let us go to effective English. Today I have brought foreign words. Under effective English, we have 3 exam topics: idioms, phrasal verbs and foreign words. Try to get all the 5 correct. Alma mater means institution where one studied. Answer is B. Extempore is not correct. We have to say extempore. Extempore means to give a speech without any preparation. Lingua franca means a common language or a connecting language. In our country, English is a lingua franca. Magnum opus, masterpiece, the best work of someone, we say magnum opus. E. Modus operandi, manner of working. D. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? BCAED, that's wonderful. Magnum opus, if you take a person like Rajmouli, his magnum opus is a Bahubali, the best work, masterpiece. And this modus operandi goes with crime. When you watch TV, sometimes you come across a scene like police arrest a criminal, they organize a press meet. In that press meet, they tell how the criminal committed that crime, his way of committing that crime. It could be theft, it could be killing, it could be kidnapping. That is known as modus operandi. That's an important expression you have to know. All the 5 correct, you should be extremely happy. This is about right about Nihon Hidan Kyo. First, it starts with the organization, what the objectives of the organization, then awarded Nobel Peace Prize for what, then it is about main goal, then impact on Japan, on world. 4 points. But please go through this, try to write on your own, try to make the sentences very simple and take the idea. 4 ideas are there in a nutshell. Take each one, try to make it simple, use your own sentences, and slowly, if you make it a habit, when it comes to descriptive English, you have IBPS PO mains, you have a descriptive English paper, and sooner or later, SBI notification is going to be out. You have SBI PO descriptive English paper. This habit at this juncture will definitely help you. And I always tell students, descriptive English makes or breaks your selection. Very important, do remember. Now let us go to the last slide, consolidation. Still, based on the editorial, provoke insight. Steadfastly means a firmly. Ever means a be assertive. Pacifism, no to war. Saber rattling, intimidating or threatening. Vitiate, to spoil. Surreptitiously, secretly or stealthily. Horrors mean something that causes fear. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. And do remember, after the session, we'll upload the PDF of this. Try to access. For that, you have to join the Telegram group. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.